Bookies, it's Salee. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what they don't really tell you during pregnancy. I feel like everybody tells you like the normal things, like about morning sickness and stuff like that, but we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, okay? So I'm going to start with like the beginning stages. For me personally, I was so emotional. I was mad, I was sensitive, I wanted to fight my man. It was bad. And everybody talks about like morning sickness. For me personally, I really didn't have morning sickness. Like I would be nauseous a little bit, but I think I only got sick twice during my whole pregnancy. But during the beginning I was nauseous in the morning and I didn't have any appetite. Like food just disgusted me. So also in the beginning, you might have some light bleeding, even throughout your pregnancy. It's usually nothing to really worry about, unless it's accompanied with like really bad cramping and stuff like that. But you know, I didn't have implantation bleeding during my pregnancy, but a lot of people do, and it's completely normal. But I did spot, like I think 2 months in, and certain things will make you spot too. A lot of people either completely hate their man during their pregnancy or they become extremely attached to them. For me, I became super attached. You know, he irritated me, he made me super mad in the beginning, but towards like the middle and the end, he was the only person that I wanted to be around. Let's talk about pregnancy rage. So I worked at Walmart. I was over about 25 people and I was mad almost every day at work. You know, like I would be happy, but like I would just get irritated way more than I normally would. And everybody would be like, it's okay, you're pregnant, but you know, just be mindful of that. Now, what you don't do is get on Google. Do not get on Google and search up every single one of your test results. Don't get on Google and search up any possibility of anything that might happen. Just don't do it, because you're gonna send yourself down a rabbit hole and you're gonna get super paranoid. So I would say try to stay off of Google if you can. If you have questions about test results or anything like that, talk to your doctor. Don't look it up. So your first appointment really is just them confirming the pregnancy, and then usually your second appointment is about at 8 weeks, and that's just an ultrasound. So you get to see the little teeny tiny baby and you get to listen to the heartbeat. And usually during that second appointment, they draw blood. I was not prepared for how much blood they take from you, but it's a lot. They test you for every single kind of STD. They test you for any kind of like issues, low iron. They literally check your blood for any type of health issue or anything. So that being said, they'll take, I think during my first one, I want to say they took like 8 vials of blood, and you just sit in the chair, you put your arm out, they take your blood. So be prepared. For every single appointment that you go to, they're gonna make you get on the scale. You go in, they'll make you get on the scale, they'll take your blood pressure, and then you go into the room. During your first appointment, they'll also usually do a swab, like in you, to check for STDs as well. Another fun fact is the petroleum jelly that they use to do the ultrasound with. In all the movies and TV shows that you watch, everybody talks about how cold it is, but now they warm it up for you. So that's just a little fun fact. Now there is something called type B strep. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, type B strep. And it's not actual strep like strep throat. It is this kind of bacteria that you have in your vagina, and if you do have it, you know, it's not STD, it's not STI, it's not anything that's sexually transmitted. It's just, sometimes people just have it. You know, it's natural. It can come from sharing a drink with somebody, stuff like that. So if you do have it, you have to get antibiotics while you're in labor, just to reduce the chance of your baby having it. Because for us, it's generally harmless, but for the baby, it can be really dangerous. So that's just something to be on the lookout for. But they test that pretty early, preeclampsia and everything like that. So a lot of people don't really talk about those things. I didn't really know anything about it, but I had preeclampsia during the end of my pregnancy. And that's basically like high blood pressure and it can be dangerous for the baby. Preeclampsia can shut your organs down. It can get dangerous. So that's just something that they look out for your whole pregnancy. That's why they check your blood pressure every single time you go. For me, I had to be induced 3 weeks early because of it. And I'm not saying that to scare you guys. Don't get scared and think that you have it. Some symptoms of it, for me, my hands would get swollen, my feet would get swollen. I had to start checking my blood pressure every single day. And if your blood pressure is at a certain level, they'll make you go to the hospital. So it's something that they look out for. It's not extremely common, but it's getting more common as the years go by. Something else I had that nobody ever talked about was a velamentous cord. So a velamentous cord is your cord not being properly connected. So the umbilical cord. So mine wasn't properly connected, so my baby didn't really get the nutrients and everything that she needed. So when she was born, she was only 5 pounds 8 ounces. When we left the hospital, she was 5 pounds. So that's a pretty low birth weight. Even with her being 3 weeks early, because I had to be induced early, that was still kind of low because she wasn't getting the nutrients that she needed. But the velamentous cord is super rare, like that barely ever happens. So if everything is good with your pregnancy and with the baby, you're not going to get that many ultrasounds. Like, I had expected to get an ultrasound every single time I went in, but I didn't have to get ultrasounds a lot until I had a couple months left, and that was because of the velamentous cord. They were checking that. I feel like a lot of the doctors and the nurses were fascinated by it, and even like when I gave birth, they took the placenta and researched it. So yeah, but for me, I had to get ultrasounds a lot, especially during the end, but that's not normal. You usually don't get that many ultrasounds. Now, for my working girls, towards the end of your pregnancy, you are not going to want to work. You're going to be tired. You're going to be over it. Your feet are going to hurt. Your back is going to hurt. You're going to get Braxton Hicks contractions, which are contractions, but not really contractions. Like, it feels like you're having contractions, but they're not real. You know what I'm saying? So, towards the end, you're not going to want to go to that job. So, hopefully you have a job that gives you time off. Maybe you can go a little bit early. I got induced 3 weeks early, so I can't imagine going the full 40 weeks because towards the end, I did not want to be there at all. For me, towards the end of my pregnancy, my back hurt so bad. And I was only carrying a 5-pound baby. And my back hurt so bad. I used to come home from work like, I just need to lay down for a minute before I do anything, before I take a shower. I just gotta lay down. It was rough. And that's another thing, like, it's gonna get harder to get your little pregnant self in the shower. You're not gonna want to be in there for an hour like you used to want to be. A lot just changes during your pregnancy. And I will say you should definitely oil your stomach up. And I used the vitamin C sugar scrub, and that really helped me not get stretch marks. I only have one stretch mark from pregnancy, and it's just a little tiny one on my belly button. Now, that's also genetics. So, you know, if your mom has stretch marks, if your grandma has stretch marks, you're probably going to get them. It's completely normal. It's just a part of being a woman. It's just a part of having a baby. But oiling your stomach up and using vitamin C scrub can really help. I want you guys to keep in mind that every single pregnancy is different. Your experience is going to be completely different from mine. Your friend's experience is going to be completely different from yours. We all have completely different experiences during pregnancy, during birth, during postpartum. You really never know. So don't scare yourself about some of the things that I talked about in this video, because it's probably not going to happen to you. It's just another thing that nobody really talks about, and I didn't know was a thing, was a lot of people's stomachs get hairy during pregnancy. Like, I normally don't get hair on my stomach, but during my pregnancy, girl, I look like a Sasquatch. Like, my stomach was really hairy. My friend said that happened to her. My other friend said it happened to her. So it's completely normal. It's common. After I gave birth, it stopped. It's just a weird thing. And sometimes you'll be hairier in general. just because of the extra hormones that are in your body. And I'll also say you need to give yourself some grace and some understanding, because during this time your hormones are off the chain, especially in the beginning, especially after you give birth. So don't be hard on yourself. Make sure you have a really strong support system, because if you don't have that really strong support system, it definitely shows. And I might think of some more things about what they don't tell you during pregnancy. You guys can drop comments about what you feel like nobody told you about pregnancy, and I can make a part 2 video. But it was nice talking with you guys. I had a lot of fun. Make sure that you subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.